everything is always changing. It's like the skills that we use to build websites, the technology that we use, the design patterns, even the devices that we use have come from desktop to now mostly mobile. It's like everything is constantly changing all the time, except for one thing, the web design agency model. And it's totally ironic.
And isn't it ironic?
The one thing that never seems to change is the thing that's responsible for all the other changes. But that's why most web agencies aren't getting any leads anymore, because the old agency model is not taking into account the new vibes that are going on in the industry. And there's really two areas that's happening. One is there used to be a baked-in demand for local web designers. People used to think, well, I got to get my business online. If I don't do that, I'm missing out on this huge opportunity. And therefore, I need to go find a local web designer, which meant that you could basically just put a sign out front saying, I build websites, and you would get leads. And the reason that's really important is because there's nothing built into the traditional web agency model that has anything to do with generating leads. It's just assumed that people want websites. And if you say that you build websites, then you start the normal three-step process of discovery, strategy, figuring out how to actually implement the things that you discovered the client wants, and then the solution. How do I actually implement the strategy? And or sometimes people talk about like discover, design, deploy. I like to talk about it a little bit more strategically by having discovery and then strategy, because I feel like strategy includes the design, but even a little bit more. It's like more like what are the tactics that we're going to use in order to start achieving the goals that we discovered in the discovery session. And then we have this implementation phase, which is where we actually build out everything that we defined in the strategy. So to me, it seems like the traditional agency model has this discovery, strategy, solution process. The problem is the solution is last. And if the solution is last, then you don't have anything to actually get the leads with, because the main thing that people want is the solution, right? It's like they don't really care about any of the other parts. They want the thing that creates the results, the solution. And so if you find that you're not getting the leads, it might be because on your website, you're saying stuff like we build websites, we do custom solutions, things like that. And it just sort of presupposes that people want the website and that you get the lead. And so you start with the discovery. But there's nothing lead generation oriented in the old outdated web design agency model. And then there's a second problem too, which is businesses, they don't want custom solutions anymore. Because it used to be the case that all websites were basically brochure websites. E-commerce was like prohibitively expensive. You couldn't really do video. There weren't really online course platforms or anything. It's like basically everybody just had a brochure website, and design was the differentiator. And so like during the discovery process, most of that conversation was like, what do you want the site to look like? Do you have other sites you like? Do you have a color palette that you like? You know, what's the content going to be like? And so it's almost all driven based on design, because the design was the differentiator. Today, that's not even close to the case. Today, there's basically two categories of websites. There's professional, good-looking sites, and then there's like stuff that is not professional. It's like the trashy sites, right? And so as long as you're in the professional category, it's like there's a wide range of ways the website could look that are totally fine. And what most business owners think is, as long as I look professional and I get results, that's all I care about. And so like the custom design isn't really all that important anymore. I mean, you don't want to do like cookie cutter sites where everything looks identical, but like that's not really what motivates and drives clients. They want more clicks, more leads, more clients, more revenue, more calls. Like they want business results from the website. And so that's fundamentally shifting the idea of, do I want a custom solution or not? Because back in the day, people are like, yeah, I want a custom solution because I want my site to look different from everyone else's. Today, people aren't thinking that the custom part applies to the design. The custom part now usually applies to the strategy. So what that means is people don't want it to be your first rodeo. Like people want to have like a proven system that works, right? Think about it in another space. Like think if you're like sick and you need medicine. Are you going to take the medicine that you know has a tried and tested and proven track record of helping thousands of people? Or do you want to be somebody's guinea pig and try something brand new for the first time? It's like, if it's me, it's like when results are critical, I want to go with the proven solution. I don't want to just test out something. Unless I'm playing around or whatever, that's one thing. But like if the results are critical, I want to go with a proven system. And that's the problem with the old, outdated web agency model. It doesn't talk about proven systems. In fact, it really flourishes on the concept of, hey, this is a unique custom experience. And so now you got two problems, right? So problem one about the baked-in demand, it's like, it's not that the demand for getting online has gone away. It's the demand for local web designers has evaporated. Because instead, it's like, if I think, hey, I'm a business owner, I want to get online, I'm going to do one of two things. One, I'll either go build my own website for like on a do-it-yourself platform like Wix or Squarespace, if I feel so inclined, or I'm going to go to a freelancing community like Upwork, or maybe a Facebook group. But I'll probably land on like Fiverr or Upwork or something like that, because first of all, Upwork is like advertising out the wazoo. I mean, I was watching NFL the other day and like an Upwork ad showed up. So it's like, how are you and I supposed to compete against NFL ads and stuff like that, right? So like Upwork is winning in a big way when it comes to just getting the mind share of business owners thinking, hey, if I need a freelancer to do anything, I'll go to this freelance community, because Upwork guarantees a bunch of stuff. Like Upwork takes a lot of the risk and trouble out of working with individual freelancers. From financial risk, is like they kind of guarantee the payments and stuff. Plus, if your web designer goes away, there's like a billion of them that you can pick from to kind of fill in the gap. It's like all the risks and concerns that somebody might have working with individual freelancers or individual web designers is kind of solved by working with Upwork. And so what that means is the demand for local web designers like you and me has just evaporated in favor of either building my own site or going to a freelance community where the risk is mitigated by this brokering third party like Upwork. So it's not that the demand for websites has gone away, the demand for you has gone away, is basically what I'm saying. And so what that means is you have to flip those two things. You have to create new demand, and you have to move away from a custom solution to a proven system. And you just need to do one shift. So instead of having the discovery, strategy, solution workflow with your clients, you just move the solution first. And I guarantee if you do that, you will get far more leads at a much higher price point, and you won't be competing against all of these ravenous freelancers that are just starving for low budget projects because you're offering something that they can't offer, which is the solution. Like they're keeping the old web agency model in place thinking, I just presuppose people want to work with me. Like the lead generation part of it is done by something else. And originally it was done because the internet was new and people wanted to get online, and there was no such thing as Upwork, and people were just looking for web designers that could build websites. Today, Upwork sort of solves that problem for people. They're like, hey, we'll get you the leads, you just do the work. But if you're going to be an independent web agency, you have to make this one shift, which is you have to become a solution-first agency because of those two reasons. The solution is really the thing that the client wants. And if you create the solution first, you can say, look, I have the thing that you want, and that creates the demand. And then thing number two, it's a proven system. It's like, look, I've got other people that I've done this exact same thing for, and this works. And so that lowers the risk and increases the perceived likelihood that the client's actually going to get the goals that they want. And it all comes down to having a solution-first agency because it creates demand and it lowers the risk by having a proven system. I'll put a link in the description. You can check out this whole video workshop that I put together on exactly how to build a solution-first agency. And I guarantee that even if you just do some of the stuff that we talk about, you'll definitely make more money. And it's totally free. You don't have to buy anything. Just come in and check it out. I think you'll love it. If you don't want to do that, check out this next video over here, and I'll show you a live example of how, like, even on my own website, I use the concept of a solution-first agency, and you can kind of see it working live right here. So check this one out.